feel very privileged to have got to meet him, because when I was going to Stockton Con, I actually had it in my contract that I got a picture with him.
Right.
And they said it was weird stipulation. I was like, no, I have to meet them.
We have a super talented guest, a very close friend of mine, a fellow incredible staple in the voice acting community, someone you may be familiar with his work from everything from Danganronpa as the legendary Gundham Tanaka, to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Avdol, to Monster Hunter. I mean, the list of this guy's credits is so impressive. The one and the only, Chris Tergliafera is here.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yay! And he brought his friend, dog, Charlie.
Yeah,
we have Charlie as well.
Charlie!
Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. I like how he has his own square of felt on the bed.
He does. It was originally my throw blanket, and now it's his.
Charlie's taking it over.
Yeah, it's his thing now.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Chris, like I mentioned, is an amazing voice actor, and he and I have the privilege of working together at Universal Studios Hollywood. We work the Transformers show, and we've been doing it together since it opened, and I owe Chris for a plethora of success I've tasted, and he's a good friend, and I like to call him that as well.
Oh, thank you, Josh. Josh is a good friend of mine, too.
If you've seen any of his viral videos, one of his most famous clips is the Fortnite Megatron, when he's like, kids play Fortnite, you know, and they're like the magnum opus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that also came from you, because Josh, the things you do as Optimus, like I'll never be able to match, but Josh, you can connect with kids in a way that it's just really special. But one of the things is you just rattle off games that they're into, like Minecraft, the crafting table, Fortnite. So then I started just trying to throw my hand into it, even though I know nothing about Fortnite, where kids would just come up and then I'd just go, I have a question for you. Play Fortnite. And they, at that point, everyone would say, yeah.
He's the coolest Megatron I've ever seen.
Yeah. And I just go, me too. And that was it. And then if they ever said anything like, what maps do you play? I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, all of them, every single one, every last. Yes, exactly. So
that's really cool. Chris, one thing I wanted to mention, because like I'm the exact same way. When I was like kind of going through all your social media and on your Twitter, you had posted that the way that you type emails is you end all them with like exclamation points, and then you then go change them out with like a period. I'm the exact same way. Like, because it's like you don't want to come across too excited, but like sometimes you are that excited. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the email I sent to you, I was like, you know what? I think I used all exclamation marks this one.
Correct.
Yeah,
yes.
I was like, there are 3 of them, and I was like, you know what? I didn't. There wasn't really a point for a period. It's like, no, this is all excitement. This is all good feelings.
Right. I mean, like, I think it's fine. Is that something that, like, when we were in like grammar school, they're like, make sure to only use exclamations? Like, is that a thing?
What I think it is that with texting, if you use periods or in emails, it comes across so cold and so flat that you have to use the exclamation marks to say, I'm happy about this. I'm excited about this. Not like, yes, I will see you at dinner. It's like, yes, I will see you at dinner.
Yeah. I mean, unless you will see them at dinner,
In which case
then,
you just, yeah. Then it's just like, nothing.
I will see you, comma, at dinner.
Oh, Josh, a ... Josh. Now that sets up the evening for a little swerve there, huh?
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of ... but it feels like menacing. It's like ... Well, I suppose. And even when I do the exclamation points too, I'm worried I'm yelling at people. Like I have to be like, I'm answering an email about, do you want to send over, some money for your initiation dues? I'm like, sure, great, exclamation point, can't wait. So absolutely.
We're getting ... in the chat. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Green Guy, for the ... Appreciate you. Dude, and so unfortunately, let's talk about something, because you recently and we both went to Stockton Con, and I got to meet the legend Sting when I went, and you got to meet the NWO brother for life, which is even more important now that our good that the legend Scott Hall has unfortunately passed away. We're all wrestling fans here. Heather's big wrestling fan. How did you first get into wrestling? What was your...
You know, I'm gonna let Charlie heard something. He has to go explore.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye, Charlie.
See you
I
soon.
first got into wrestling. I think the first time I was at my buddy's Tim's house, and like the first match I saw was HBK and Stone Cold.
Wow, like WrestleMania 14.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I was over there, and I had been watching a little bit, but I just remember seeing that, and like when Triple H was coming out, like with escorting him, and he just like flipped up. Sorry, actually,
It's fine.
Okay, he like flipped off the camera, and me in middle school was like, "Oh my god, what is this?"
What a
And
rebel.
then my friends like, and then I watched that match. I was like, "Oh wow!" And then you know, that was also about the time the NWO was coming up. And I remember because I'd watched a little bit of WCW before then. And just when the NWO came, it made WCW seem like a clown show before.
It was so uncool.
Very bright colors, you know, and all this. And they just came in and everything got really serious. And it was fun. And it was also a time in my life, especially watching the NWO, where I was kind of going through, like, you know, I was in middle school. I wasn't really sure of myself. And those guys were just so cool. And they were the bad guys. And yeah, just watching Scott Hall, I just loved everything about him. Like when he would come into the ring and like do that. And I got to talk to him at Stockton Con. Yeah, about whenever he would come in and like then be like, "I'm the shit." And I said, like, "You've done that since you were Razor Ramon." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You know, Vince saw it. People said, you know, are they going to have a problem with it?" He's like, "No, just don't put it, you know, just don't put him on mic when he says it."
It's not a bad Scott Hall impersonation.
No, it's pretty good.
Down here.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, you know, he's such, I mean, even then, he's such a big man. And, you know, he was just talking about how much he loved it. And it was, I feel very privileged to have got to meet him because when I was going to Stockton Con, I actually had it in my contract that I got a picture with him.
Right.
And they said it was a weird stipulation. I was like, no, I have to meet them. So
I had it in my contract. I was supposed to meet the Bucks, and the Bucks like canceled that weekend. So he's like, "Is Sting okay?" And I was like, "I guess."
Yeah, I'll take Sting.
Supposed to be the young one. I guess the icon Sting. Fun. When I met Sting, he had said something funny. He was like, "I always wanted to get into voice acting." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Sting, you just let me know. And he was like, "Yeah, might have to." Like, we had a talk for a couple of minutes. He's like, "What's it like?" And I felt weird because I was like, "Oh, is he talking to me? Or like, should I leave? Is there's more people in line? Or no, he wants to have this. This isn't just a friendly and passing conversation. He gives a damn about me."
Did he bring you up to the rafters and you had a conversation?
He did
above
Stinger
the
death drop
stadium?
me on the concrete floor afterwards.
But speaking of wrestling, it's kind of bizarre to think this weekend's WrestleMania. And since Chris, you brought up Stone Cold, he has a match this weekend. Any thoughts on his match with Kevin Owens?
I didn't know Stone Cold was coming back. Where have I been? No,
Long story short, he's been being insulted by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has been insulting the great state of Texas, and they technically haven't booked it as it's booked, but it's not booked as a match. It's booked as he's coming on the KO show, which means Kevin Owens is going to drink a beer, get stunned, and probably thrown out of the ring.
I'll take it. That's all I need.
Has he wrestled since he retired?
19 years he has not had a match. He's made plenty of appearances, come here and stunned McMahon once, stunned Byron Adams, stunned somebody from the New Day, I think, made a bunch of WrestleMania, but he's never really had kind of like an advertisement like Stone Cold's going to be here. And it's in Texas. It's in Cowboy Stadium.
Wow.
Roof's off so God can watch the matches, you know? So,
the opening.
Yeah, the opening. It's so crashed and God can see the wrestling, all right?
Yeah.
So,
I remember
it's going to be great.
I saw, which one did I go to? It was the ladder match with Vince and Shane O'Mac versus Stone Cold. And I was like the only one rooting for Vince McMahon in the crowd.
I love Vince McMahon. He's a brutal dictator. That guy is a genius. He doesn't get enough credit. Vince McMahon does not get enough credit. And someone made a good point. They're like, unfortunately, when Vince McMahon passes away, wrestling in the mainstream is going to be go back to this carnival. But I don't know. AEW, Tony Khan is a very powerful man, and he's a very influential man. So it'll be curious to see.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Wrestling nerds. That's what's up for life.
I know. And the final thing I wanted to say, Chris, since you kind of mentioned, like, you know, growing up with the wrestling, like I got into it, I guess, a little bit later. I've been a wrestling fan for like 10, 15 years. But I remember like being back in middle school and everyone was just going around like suck it. And I was like, what does this mean? And then I like realized, like, as I get older, I'm like, it's Degeneration X. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
I mean, I went back home and I had all my wrestling shirts there. And there was one, I was like, I cannot believe I wore this, but I was so proud of it at the time, was the Triple H I Am the Game shirt. And on the back it says, because I'm that damn good. And I was like, oh God, if I put this on now, I would be so mortified. But like 15-year-old Chris thought it was the coolest thing in the entire world.
It was.
It was. This was like 98.
It was.
There was no internet like there is now in 1998. Like you had to go buy tickets at the warehouse, the music store, or Sam Goody to buy wrestling tickets. You know what I mean? You didn't know when they were coming to town. And
I mean, do they still? One thing, one of my best, or my buddy Tim and I, we went to the house shows, and then after one of the house shows, we just went to every hotel in Greensboro. We were like 16 at the time to find, like, to see if we can find any. And we actually met Edge and Christian and got their autograph when they were tag team champions.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was like during the
That's a
phase
real
where they
fan
were doing
right
the photo.
Oh yeah,
thing.
the pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your cameras ready. 'Cause we're about to pose. Edge has a match this year also. He's returned. He came back a couple years ago. He's wrestling AJ Styles.
Okay.
It's going to be a good, the way they're billing it is a stupendous WrestleMania. Huh?
Oh boy.
You see that, Vince? Hire me.
He's available. Hire him. But okay, I guess just to transition a little bit, something else that I thought was kind of neat, Chris. I read that you studied the Meisner technique, so I kind of wanted to know about why Meisner. I'm familiar, and I also know Stanislavski. I just wanted to know what drew you to Meisner in particular.
That it was, you know, Meisner's not for everybody. There are a lot of different schools of thought in acting, but for me, I like the fact that at the beginning, it's just about reacting off your partner instead of like, because a lot of times I feel like as voice actors, especially, we'll get a script and the first thing is like, how am I going to make this sound good? How am I going to make these words sound good? And that's really not the approach to take to acting at all. It's all like, you know, reacting off of your fellow actor. Which is something, you know, it doesn't really with Meisner. For on stage and live action, it makes everything so much easier. Just reacting truthfully under imaginary circumstances, just paying attention off of everything the partner does, like staying completely, applying it to voiceover with the help of David Sobolov, who's just a legendary voice actor.
He's going to be on our show at the end of next month. Yes.
Okay, well, you can tell him he's helped my booking ratio a lot with the classes I took.
I'm so happy to hear that.
But he studied actually with Sandy in New York, and basically he just taught me how to break down a script, how to use the Meisner technique with voiceover, and it's really kind of like building up that imaginary partner, so you're actually reacting to something. You know, the moment before, like, you know, just the physicality of everything. But that's what drew me to it. Yeah, because I think I was kind of doing I guess it was the Stanislavski method, where it's like, you know, you're thinking about a time where, you know, you were heartbroken, if you're heartbroken in a scene. And I still do that to a degree, but it's just as time goes on, like some of the moments that were like so big to me 20 years from now can't get that same emotional response. So, but yeah, anyway, that's what drew me to Meisner.
That's awesome. And, you know, since you did bring up David Sobolov, he's also such an incredibly prolific actor. Do you remember when you guys first met? Have you worked together on any projects?
No, I know he was teaching something on Meisner, and I've done every workshop under the sun. Like I've been training at this for 14 years. I've taken a class with everybody. But at a certain point, you kind of want to, I realized I needed to get to the next level with it. So I started doing privates with him, and just for the fact that he studied Meisner And that's what the acting technique I knew. I was like, this is going to be a good fit. Also, it was also good because his voice is so resonant and so deep that a lot of the times there are some and he brings up these like, Josh and I aren't going to be hired for that young pro tag.
No.
And
no anime roles, no young anime boys for us, my friend.
Right. And, and David was, very upfront about that. So we were able to work on the things we would book. And since he's in the same wheelhouse, he knew how to use a deep voice like that, which is, it's kind of, we're not as versatile. We're still versatile. Like Josh and I are still versatile. David's still versatile, but there are just certain things where, even if there are, I think I did an anime with Todd Habercorn where I was a high school student, but really it was only because the guy that did the anime wrote this high school student that looked like he was 40 years old, and they hired a older guy for the voice, and Todd was in there, and then he was like, so that's why you're here, because they did that. But that's very, very rare. Even though like Josh, I mean, like there are deep voiced young guys. We were deep voiced young guys, but you just don't see them. We think, it's got to be the heavies, and it's kind of like that. But that's what drew me to David, because we were in
That's
the same
awesome.
world.
Well, and I mean, like,
I was going to say one of the most brutal things about when you become a voice actor and you train is that you learn, just as in acting, like you're not going to get every role, and I think you made a touch on a great point there. Focus on the stuff that you are going to book.
Right.
Don't take classes on how to, don't take singing classes if you're doing grunt noises, so to speak.
Right.
You're like, I can do it in vibrato too. So
yeah.
I bet you can, though. I bet you can. Josh.
We could probably do singing orcs. Like I think.
Yeah, we could probably do that. That would.
But it's so brutal. Sometimes you get these auditions. Chris and I know this. You get these auditions, and there's a character list. It's 6 characters, and 4 of them we're looking for 17 to 25 range. I'm like, not me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then there's like some old man, and they're like, we want 50 to 70. I'm like, well, I don't sound like I'm 60, and I can sell you insurance. I mean, I sound like a middle-aged loving father.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's also being able to put that age on. There are certain things with experience that I think you just can't really emulate unless you're doing kind of like a generic fantasy character. Like there are certain things like a real life 55 to 65-year-old or like a 60 to 70-year-old grandpa. There's just something that
cigarettes, brandy.
Yeah, exactly. All that
fights
stuff
with his wife and children, pain, a war.
I mean, like I don't know how. I mean, Josh and
fucking Vietnam. All right.
I'm sure all 3 of us have went through things where it's like whenever we were like much younger, like when I was 23 and auditioning for these like roles where there's a lot of pain and suffering, it's like I didn't know any of this. I hadn't really went through hard times, and like the things I had went through that were hard were like kid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's experience is the best teacher. I mean, it's just like
great advice. Great advice. Take that to heart for sure.
Take note.
From a master. For sure. So doing the Meisner with, I know we both know you just did it so you could sit next to DJ Rouse, but we also and James, my other friend James Wadsworth, took the Meisner method too, which is funny. You also did some UCB stuff as well.
Yeah. They're finally opening back up. I was in level 4, and I was really improv. Something I'm good at. Like at this stage of my life, like some people. I'm also very hard on myself. Some people are like, why are you being down? It's like, I'm very honest with myself. I know like things I need to improve on. And I know things that like, hey, I'm good at this. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not being good. Am I the greatest improviser ever? No, but it's something that I get pretty well. But halfway through level 4, COVID hit. It was like we had a show the next day. And that was
really in March.
The world is shutting down, and we just got an email. They got bought out by somebody, and it's like, we're coming back. And it's like, okay. So, but yeah, it's improv. I mean, and also, I mean, Josh, when you're doing Optimus, like our entire job's improv. Like, it's
how can you relate to a 6-year-old child who is scared to death but honored to see you at the same time? You know what I mean? You're like, well, all right, here we go. I mean,
yeah, and I mean, it's just something you just have to I think the biggest thing is just you're always present with it.
That's a good way to look at it.
And also just, if something happens on set, like I think the something that'll take you out of any play is if, let's say, I'm out there and I've got like a big emotional speech and I drop a glass of water and it spills, but that wasn't supposed to happen and nobody cleans it up and we just ignore it. It's like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. And no one's reacting how they would. Like, even if I'm like giving somebody like the business on something, if I drop a thing of water, I'm going to look around and get, and you didn't have any right to do, what you did. It's like you still, or either you're so mad that you have to play off it. You have to, everything that's happening is real. And when people ignore real stuff that's happening, it just makes it awkward for everyone because then we're like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. And they're acting like it's not.
Yeah. I mean, that's such an incredibly good point, and maybe things that people don't just think of automatically. And I think like you said, when you're seeing like a live performance or live theater, it's definitely something that does pull you out of it, where, obviously you want to be so immersed in what you're watching. And the second something like that happens and everyone's like, that's supposed to happen, it really does take you out of it. So
yeah, but if they react to it, if it's something where they clean it up or put it away, or they just like they use it in character, then you've made a beautiful mistake. So
yeah. And kind of to backtrack, speaking of improv, I have to say something that Josh does on the show pretty frequently for our guest is one of his improvs where he does the movie phone voice. I feel like we'll have to do that at the end.
Nice.
Movie phone or movie trailer?
Because movie trailer. Movie trailer.
Thank you for calling movie phone.
I was like, oh wow, throwback to movie phone.
Wow.
Yeah, Josh, you've done movie phone on the show as well.
I have done movie phone too.
Yes.
106.1 KMEL presents movie phone.
Now, does anybody under 22, do they know what movie phone was?
I don't even think that you ask them what they know what popcorn is. They don't know what popcorn was. You're like, did you guys ever, like, popcorn used to call someplace to tell you the time? You're like, yes.
Yes.
Yes. We would do that. There was a centralized operation known as popcorn.
Well, yeah, we weren't plugged in. We needed to get the exact time.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you had to listen to every single theater and every single movie. And oh my God. But
remaining showtimes are 9:40.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, that was always the best thing of just like any pre-recording thing. It used to be a lot more jarring, but it's like we have times at 9:40. Yeah, 10:30.
It's all computer now. It's so bad. Everything's an AI generated voice now, and that's a big thing that's going around in the VO industry. Is that a lot of people are like, look, they're coming for us as voice actors. And a lot of these I've known actors and actresses who have recorded for AI jobs and been like, whoa, wait a minute, what? One woman in particular this is a good segue, you right for this?
God.
The TikTok lady who does the voiceover. My friend said this is all. The woman's voice who that's based off of is suing them because she's like, you never told me my voice would be used every single time on every piece of content monetized in perpetuity. And they're like, well, we actually did. Check the bottom line on the contract. It's tucked in here.
Yeah, but did she get a picture with Razor Ramon? I'm sorry. Was that
she did not.
Because
she did not.
She did not. She got screwed.
Chris, you have a huge following on TikTok. You have legions of loving fans. Tell us about how that started and what it's been like, because TikTok is a little bit different than Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. It's its own beast. And some people who have bigger platforms than others haven't. And I know that you were smart and you transitioned a lot of your following over to your Twitch channel. So how did that start?
You have millions of likes. It's millions. That has to feel powerful.
Well, it's I have a very and actually, like what had me blowing up on TikTok was the fact that just my the Gundham Tanaka, that sound became a meme on there where people list names or whatever, and then it's like my name is, and then they would have this jarring Gundham Tanaka. So when I got on there, it's like, oh, it's Gundham Tanaka, and then I just made some like kind of cute things for it that were Gundham Tanaka related. Some things
that great cosplayer you brought in.
Yeah, my buddy Morgan, and also like my fan base is very much like just the most loving, caring, supportive fan base that I could ever ask for. Like, we're not the biggest one. It's not like, nobody knows who I am except for them. but they like me and I love them. You know, it's a very kind, giving community. So anytime I never fear posting anything and like, oh, they're gonna hate this. It's like, you know, it's very much like I think they'll like this, and they're always very supportive. So it's a different feeling than that. So that I kind of just rolled with that into more TikToks. And I need to post more. I've kind of the last 3 months on TikTok, it's been pathetic for me. But
I feel like that's like how TikTok is. It's like you're super into it for a while, and then you're like, maybe I'll take a minute, and then you'll come back with vengeance.
Gundham Tanaka, right as you said that, we got a Gundam Tanaka in the chat for sure from Menace Magas.
Well, we also wanted to ask Chris. Obviously, you're also on Cameo. What would you say has been the most unique request that you've gotten for Cameo?
The most well, I'll tell you two. One of them probably because I put a lot of time into them. Like it's like I try to make them as personal as possible. Probably the most heartwarming one was one where a dad got this for his daughter who was a big fan of Danganronpa, but she was going through like her 6th heart surgery and she was 12.
No. Oh,
so that was one. And then there was another where he's like, I got the most badass kid, but she's had a rough year. Her mom passed away. So those are the ones you really take time with and really try to make them worthwhile. And then on the lighter side, the odder ones are like the roast ones, where, basically what I do is I start those off with my character voices. And then I say, but none of them are going to talk to you today because this is a roast and they don't do roast. And then I don't want like a beloved character, like telling somebody like why their shirt is stupid or why their fandom is, But there was one also. Yeah, one of the roasts was somebody talked about doo-doo too much.
Oh.
So I had to give them a big talking to about like nobody wants to hear about it.
Oh my God!
Don't want to hear about your doo-doo, boy. That's the Cajun man. No one want to hear.
You got stop talking about the doo-doo.
Voodoo magic over there. No,
Did you guys see like the one about like what happened with Tara Strong a couple weeks ago? Like why she okay, so obviously I'm sure everyone knows who Tara Strong. She's voiced literally everything ever. And she's incredible and wonderful. So she is also on Cameo and she got her first negative review. And she was like a little like she wasn't exactly saying why it was. She's like, I guess I didn't fulfill exactly what they were asking for, but here's the cameo I gave them. And of course, it was a beautiful cameo. And then the reason why they gave her a negative review was because the only thing they wanted her to do during the cameo was pass gas. And because she did not pass gas during the cameo, I know this is like
fart fetishists. It's a fetishists. Flatulence seekers.
Her first negative review because she wouldn't fulfill.
Like,
are you kidding me?
I'm like, throw that one in the trash.
Down to that 4.9999.
I know. Maybe just decline it. Just decline. Move along.
I would appeal that to Cameo and be like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't fart. But,
this is inappropriate. Revoke their funds immediately.
Yeah.
Cameo did that cool thing. I bitched about Cameo for a while because in the beginning, when you would book a Cameo, it wouldn't tell you if it was off the web or if it was off the app. And that's a big difference because we've mentioned before, if it's off the app, Apple comes in, they're like, and they take
30%.
They take their greasy hands and they rob you for money, and they're like, it's because we provided a stabilized operating system in a developmental portal where you can safely sell your apps. So I think that Cameo is come leaps and bounds, and since then I love that's a great story, and I think that's what the app is best suited for. I've had the privilege of doing a couple birthday shout outs and similar things like, hey, had a rough time, and you want to make that person, I mean, come on, they're spending sometimes $60 on these things, you want to make it worth it. You want to make it something that they can truly replay over and over.
I mean, with anything like with us selling autographs or anything like that, and I know you're great with your fan outreach. It's really like, I like this, like when someone's up at the table and you're signing for them, I want it to be an entire experience. Like I want to get to know them. I want to talk to them, because I want, like, whenever they look at it to remember what a great time they had, not just because my signature is kind of worthless. Like, it's not
And you
like
have very bad handwriting.
I do have very bad handwriting.
Oh no.
It's really, really bad.
As a fellow scribble scratcher, I got you, bro. Don't worry.
I mean, like, it either looks like a 5-year-old or a serial killer drew on the picture.
I came
So
into
you're
one of
the
Chris's
Zodiac
live
killer.
signings.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
I came into his live signings as a joke on he was doing a Stream Elite signing, and I just popped in the chat and I said something like, "Why is your handwriting so bad?" And his fans got on me so bad. They were like, "Stop, leave him alone, get out of here if you don't like it." And I was like, "No." And he even says, he's like, "No, that's my buddy. It's a joke. It's a joke."
Well, I think I came on to one of your streams too, and it's kind of nice because like I never use it's like the fans. It's never like sick 'em fans, but it's nice to have like defenders. There's just this giant wall of like, hey, don't talk about our guy.
Leave my friend alone. We all have our white knights.
Yeah, exactly.
We all have our wonderful white knights. Man, what fun. TikTok, dude. What a crazy and you can get monetized on there. There's a fan club and everything. So what's your TikTok name? Is it just Tergliafera on TikTok?
I think it's Chris Tergliafera. It's either Tergliafera or Chris Tergliafera on everything I am.
Awesome.
Wow.
Check that out at home.
What's your what's your background? Because that's such a cool last name. It's so unique. Like where are you from?
It's an Italian last name. It's up in northern Italy.
Don't spell it with a fucking A either, or you'll get it.
Well, like with Jujutsu Kaisen, there's all this talk about like, I didn't mean for the tweet to like kind of blow up or anything, but there was like a tweet. It's like our actor. The guy was like, the actor's probably only made about $150 to $600, and I was like, I only doing that movie. I'm like 7th or 8th, credited. I only got $150. I was in and out there in 2 hours, and I nearly put another follow-up thing. It's like I didn't even get proper. You know how it's like, well, you're going to get credit and exposure. They misspelled my name to top it off. It's like here's some dirt money, and we're not even going to spell your name right. But the name actually is originally Tagliaferri, and then whenever we went to Ellis Island, they wanted to keep the Italianness, but also make it Americanized, which really worked out well. Tergliafera sounds so American. It's just
the G that they had, like just throw a Turg in there. Like I wonder what they were thinking when I was at Ellis at Petersdorf. They're like, what if his name was Peter Dorf? And they're like, Petersdorf, go. You know what I mean? Like
I think at Ellis Island they were just like shoving people through, just
get the Irish through, get the Scottish through, get the Italians.
I mean, like mine's Riker, so I can only assume they were watching Star Trek at the time of Ellis Island, right? They're like, number 1, go.
Yeah, go do that. Yeah. But the name actually means my small town I'm from. They made iron scissors, so the name means iron cutter.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
that is cool.
But that's cool. The misspelled name the FE is the iron part of that. The misspelled name means nothing.
It means suffering in Italian is what it means. Suffering and poor financial situations. So Gundham Tanaka, would you say, is probably your maestro at the moment? He is the
and I think like for the foreseeable future, he always will be. And it's just, it's even if I get bigger roles, I don't know if anything's going to have that sort of emotional connection, because I think that's the biggest thing with that game. Because I mean,
and is he a lawyer or is he a judge?
No, he's a kid. They're all high school students.
Okay, and
they're trapped on this island, and they have to kill each other to get off, and then they have a trial about it. It's whenever
Japanese.
When I went in to record it, the director, I was listening to it, and he's like, "It's Japan." These are like kind of the battle royale things they like to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but Gundham Tanaka, with his story arc, and I think he's flamboyant. He dresses well. He just struck a chord with a lot of people. And a lot of times they're like, Gundam's my comfort character. I think it's that character. And I mean, Avdol is another big one, but I think Gundham Tanaka for the foreseeable. I mean, because really,
that's your brother. That's you. That's you, brother. You
know
what I mean? And I'm Roadhog. It's like there's some roles you can't escape from. It's just this is the way it is.
Yeah, and I mean, you're also like Josh. There are actors that have a ton more roles than us, but they don't have the fan base because they don't have that one role.
That one role.
They don't have that one because I mean, the credit list is great and all, but really all you need, and there are also actors that have one role and they have bigger followings just because that, in Genshin Impact, you really just need that character. And then that's the big thing. But it's really all about having those characters that have an emotional connection with someone that they seek you out, because a lot of times when we're listening to things like, well, those are great voice performances, but ones that stick out, that's when you actually seek out the actor and become fans of them.
So growing up, did you watch anime? Were you into cartoons, or did this happen post wrestling fandom or
RGB?
I watched a lot of cartoons. I watched Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was my favorite. Like Josh and I have that in common. It was
really, yeah,
the real Ghostbusters. Yeah, it's still my favorite. The first Ghostbusters movie, still my favorite movie. Because it's the only movie I've liked throughout my entire life. There's some kids' movies to watch, like that didn't really hold up, but that one really did for me. But,
Little Monsters was like that for me. I thought it was really cool as a kid, and I saw it older. I was like, oh, it's just not the same.
this smells like the guy with your arm is like, this smells bad. But no, I never watched anime. I didn't really get into anime until I started doing this, and then like my first audition was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I had no clue what it was. I mean,
that almost helps you in a little bit too, because there's less pressure when you don't know what it is. You right?
Yeah. So I mean, I auditioned for Dio, Kakyoin, and that was back when Bang Zoom. Now it's really, really hard to get into Bang Zoom. Everyone's beating down the door. Back then, it was not hard at all. Like I had a crappy commercial demo, and they posted Voice 123 like, we need demos, we need voice actors. But that was like 10 years ago. That's like the only part. Because whenever we think about the good old days and things like that, it's like, I missed out on all of them. That was like the one thing. It's like I got in with Bang Zoom very early. But no, I did not watch any anime growing up.
So Gundham Tanaka, Courtroom Star, Lord of the Flies survivor. Who is he going to be a fan of? Is he a Judge Mathis? Or is he a Judge Judy? Or is he Judge Marilyn Monroe?
Ooh,
People's Court.
Who would he?
Or Judge Joe Brown.
Oh, we love.
Yeah.
Or Steve Harvey. He's a judge now too.
Who had the bat? The guy who carried the bat. Remember that?
Oh gosh, who would he like? Well, he doesn't really give any credit to any humans, but if he did have to choose anyone, I don't know. I could see
Lane?
him. Was that
Judge Mills?
I was thinking about Judge Mills
Lane.
Okay. I was thinking about, let's get it on. I was thinking about Judge Mills Lane. I think he would be a fan of Judge Mills Lane.
Okay.
I forgot that Judge Mills Lane had a show. My God. I forgot. Was that like he became like, he was a ref, then became famous judge, then went back to famous ref again? Was that kind of how it went? I'm trying to remember
He got notoriety because he was in the ring when Evander Holyfield got bit on his...
The Tyson Holyfield thing. Okay.
Yeah, so he was there with that. So his mate, like, I remember the first promos were like, I was able to take on those guys, and like, and now I'm doing that.
I took on Evander. Now I take on small claims courts about hot tub jacuzzi disputes. And so,
love it.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, I feel like, what do you think? Do you want to go for your game now?
Yeah, let's start. We do something on here when we since we're speaking about daytime court dramas. We call cold reads. You know what a cold read is, and you can pick any voice you want to do it in. And we were hoping that we could hear you do the intro to the People's Court as Gundham Tanaka.
Okay.
I feel like is there music? Like, is there like People's Court music we can like play steadily in the... Okay, Josh, you do that quietly.
Bing, bing.
Okay.
All right. Well, you tell me when, Chris. 3, 2, 1.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are the actual people who have already either filed suit or been served a summons to appear in a California municipal court.
Ding, ding, ding.
Both parties in the suit have agreed to dismiss their court cases and have their dispute settled here in our forum, the People's Court.
Wonderful. Thank you, almighty Gundham Tanaka, for
Well,
blessing us with it. Thank you
whenever
so
they
much.
gave me the direction for that, they were like, he's very theatrical. He loves to hear the sound of his own voice. So just do that. So, which is like direction for no other characters in the history of man. It's very much like, no, don't do that.
Okay, so let's say the two of you, Josh and Chris, were going to small claims court with something that had to do with Transformers. What would be the scenario? Josh, why are you taking Chris to court?
It would have to be something like Optimus would be very much like, because he's like, Optimus is a penny pincher. I feel like he makes, so Megatron owes me $13. He didn't pay for his hydraulics at the repair shop. And he's very calm. And he's just like, he's the guy who has all his papers there. And the judge is like, oh, very respectful, Optimus. And you, Megatron, why are you here?
Megatron?
This is a fool's court. Why are we here for 13 measly dollars?
Megatron, you know as well as I do, every cent, every dollar must be paid on Cybertron.
Yeah. It is this sort of rigidness that led to Cybertron being destroyed.
Your Honor, you see, he refuses to give me my $13.
I will never give you that. I don't care how many Autobots you send after me.
They say, we appear you have a witness, Optimus. It's Bumblebee here. And he comes up and says nothing. And then he just sits back down.
That's hearsay. That's hearsay.
Hearsay. Those sound clips cannot be
arguing over Cybertronian minds. Optimus, such petty, because it's all like small claims court. It's all like $500 or $5,000 rather.
I think if it was just Josh and I, though, it would have to be something in the booth, because we always.
Oh yeah.
It would have to be something like emotional distress from leaving a dirty mic there.
Leaving the mic, you didn't unplug your microphone, bro. Like, yeah. I will text him all the time, like, you left your microphone plugged in here, and we get our own mics, but Chris is a house mic. I take the house mic. He takes like the beat up mic that's like in the corner or whatever. He's like, I don't need this fresh mic. My talent will speak through this mic.
I don't want to ruin my mic. I want it to always be like, wow, Chris really took care of his mic. As opposed to like a house mic
he never used it. He took such good care of it. It looks like it's never been used.
No, never used.
Josh, do you want to do one? I know you've been workshopping Grover. Do you want to try it?
I have been workshopping Grover. Here we go. This is all right. This is Grover doing Judge Mathis.
Okay.
Troubled kids. I was one. Gangs. Jail. I was there. Second chances. I got one. I went to law school, became a lawyer, and then a judge. Now I get to give second chances. It's time for hard decisions and tough love. Justice that makes a difference. That's what I'm about. It bleeds into Yoda. I keep getting into this Yoda, like kids who are troubled. They were.
Is it the same? Is it Oz for both of them?
Is it Oz? I don't know. That's a good question, because I know Frank was heavily involved in the Muppets and Sesame Street and stuff. I think the current person who does it is a little different, but man, shout out to Grover. What a fun voice to do.
Shout out to Grover. Frank Oz.
Frank Oz was Frank Oz. There you go.
It looks like it is Frank Oz.
Well, there you have it.
1970, yeah. Okay, so I think we have one more, Chris. If you want to read it. Josh, which is this last one? Is this Judge Judy?
This is just Judge Judy intro.
Do we have that one, Jude? If not, hold on. Let's see. We may or may not. That's fine. We may not have that one. Okay, fine. Let's do, since we don't. Oh, I don't know what this one is. I have no idea what this one is.
Oh, this is the Macho Man, Randy Savage. This is something about.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
Macho
Chris.
Man, yeah.
Chris, Macho Man?
Oh, okay. All right, do Macho Man? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny because Josh and I have both done wrestler voices. And like, I did one on Jack in the Box ad, and I forget which one you.
I did a merman on Jack in the Box.
Yeah, that's right. We both did Jack in the Box. But yeah. Okay.
We both have had shared radio time with Jack himself.
Ours were like airing near at the same time. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Outside interference. Yeah. In my moment of glory. Yeah, brother. And now I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream. And now, not only the Intercontinental Heavyweight belt must fall, but the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Because Hulk Hogan, I am the cream. Yeah, the cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage. Off balance doesn't matter. I'm better than you are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That
was phenomenal.
I was trying to find Macho Man's theme song. Oh, wait, it's Pomp and
That
Circumstance,
was
right?
phenomenal. Great Macho Man, Chris. Great Macho Man. I was getting...
Right? Whoa.
I've been in the danger zone for 7 years, Hulk Hogan. I watched what you did to Miss Elizabeth. Yeah.
That was like spectacular. I wish you would have picked up Josh over your shoulder, but understandably so. Next time you could be as Miss Elizabeth.
He does such good things with his twists, and who really emulates him well is Nick Jackson now. Does the weird presses his knees together and Jay Lethal does great. Chris Tergliafera, add your name to the greats who have done Macho Man voices. Absolutely incredible. Well, we're nearing the end of our program, and we like to play a fun game on this show called Would You Rather? And this is basically to find out if we can, in fact, get money out of you. No, I'm just kidding. There's no wrong answer in this. It's pretty much up to you. So, production, you want to spin the segue? We'll start us off. Number one, would you rather be an honorary member of D-Generation X? Wow. Tough ones. Telling people to suck it, or would you rather be an honorary member of the New World Order, letting everyone know that when you're NWO, you're NWO for life?
That
was a J, but
that's one thing I told those guys, and I used to always, even like in random sort of things, 8 years ago, I'd be like, you know what, I'm still in the NWO, because when you're with the NWO, you're with them for life. Yeah, I got
right.
I'm with them for life. I have to stay with them. I love DX, but I got to do that.
I feel like if you want to be in DX, you have to carry Sean's bags and get him pills and stuff in that era. And you're like, I don't want to do that.
Damn. Okay.
Sean is reborn, and I was a huge HBK fan. We could say that because he's moved past that, and he's cleaned up his life through the power of Jesus Christ and
Hallelujah.
eating correctly. So let's go.
Okay.
All right. Moving along, Heather. Number 2.
Right. Here's the next one. Would you rather be a fortune teller or a bounty hunter? So this is you in just one day. You're like, I want a new profession for the heck of it, for funsies. What are you doing?
I would probably say I would rather be a bounty hunter, but I'd be a better fortune teller than I am a bounty hunter.
Okay.
I think I could really just lie to people. Good.
Fun.
I could lie real good as a fortune teller. Be like, oh wow, it's I can tell there's some potential in you. Do you have any big plans coming up? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that's going to come to fruition. There, $40. How much?
Wow.
I could be. I would have a whole presentation. I might braid my hair, hat, ball. Yeah, I would be a better fortune teller, but bounty hunter would be more fun.
Okay, we'll get Dog on the line. All right. Josh, you want to read the next one?
Would you rather live in the world of the last video game you played, Civ 6, or live in the world of the last video game you voiced?
Okay. All right. Let's see. That would be that would be Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Okay, I was wondering if you were playing Elden Ring.
What was the last video game? Let me just go to see if there's some.
Let me IMDb myself.
No.
That's
there's sometimes there's little mini. I'll look at the last one I voiced.
That's true. You may not know what's been released. You may know what you voiced, but what's actually been out.
Then it would be God of War Ragnarok.
Ooh, that one's kind of fun.
I would probably say Ragnarok over there because Elden Ring is just really dark. I don't know. I don't want to.
Elden Ring, you got to take breaks with that shit. Elden Ring is like smoking cigarettes. You can smoke a few and then you're like, cool, I got the urge out of me, and then you come back a couple hours later. But if you go in, you're just setting yourself a punishment in that game. My
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
I've only beaten the second boss.
I'll live in the God of War Ragnarok world.
Okay.
Good choice.
Great
Good
choice. Great choice. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather? Okay, we are gifting you a time machine. So would you rather have a sit-down conversation with Mel Blanc or a sit-down conversation with Adam West?
We spoke to Burt Ward 2 weeks ago also.
Oh, wow.
Ironic. Yeah.
Do you
Did
like
you know-
dogs?
don't get me started.
Okay.
I mean, I was a fan of Adam West. Like I watched like those reruns of the Batman growing up, and also my sister did too. We taped them and we would just watch those.
Because that was when you only had 12 channels. That was all that was on. Now 6.
I think it would be Mel Blanc though, just because I want to know like the origins of a lot of these characters and how he came about that.
Good choice.
Because I mean, there's so much like in voiceover that we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Where with him, a lot of that was just him coming up with it. There was no like template really at that point. He established the standard. So I'd say Mel Blanc.
Great choice. Great choice.
Good choice.
Good choice. Good answer. Good answer. All right, Josh.
Would you rather receive a pile driver from the Undertaker or be put in the Sharpshooter by the excellence of execution? Bret Hart.
I would say the Sharpshooter, because the pile driver, there's not much to sell with a tombstone pile driver.
You're
it's
dead,
like,
right?
It's very much like knock it out. No one ever does anything. It's like bump. That's the whole point. Like you're dead. The Sharpshooter is something where you can do the are they going to tap out? Are they going to get to the rope? So I'm a theatrical person, so I would want to be put in the Sharpshooter. See if I can, it's I mean, if you have like a little sibling, you did all these things, you did the figure 4 and all that, but
you have a chance with the Sharpshooter. People kicked out of the pile driver, or the tombstone pile driver rather. People have kicked out. Not many. I mean, if you get the Sharpshooter put on by anyone but Bret Hart, you can kick out easier. But when Bret Hart does it, I don't know.
Yeah,
you sell it extra.
The easiest one to like reverse though is that figure 4. Like I mean, not really easier, but Ric Flair always did. Towards the end of his career, never got off the top rope. Would go up there. Okay. Oh, nice. But he would always be like, I'm going to do the flying. Was it the flying knee that he
right? He would always try and do the flying knee, but he would never.
Yeah. Towards the end, they're like, I'm not doing that. But then, when he did the figure 4, it would like usually because he was at his heel turn, he would get it flipped on him. But in reality, it's not that easy to flip a figure 4.
Oh God! Ric Flair was so good at just screaming out "Oh God" and bleeding. He was so good at just bleeding and yelling out "Oh God."
No, what a great bleeder! All right, we got 2 more. Okay. So here's the next one. Okay, would you rather perform improv with Gary Busey or perform improv with Russell Brand?
Is he dressed as Alan Grant right there from Jurassic Park? You see, if you were collecting a compilation of historical jokes and rhetorical sayings, you might be performing improvisational skills with Russell Brand.
Oh wow! I mean, I feel like both of them are going to be breaking every single improv rule. I think I might just go with the train wreck of Gary Busey. I think I might. I think I'm just gonna have. I think I would have the most fun with that.
Okay,
you're gonna get good stuff out of Busey.
Yeah.
Right.
The other option that we took out was Randy Quaid, which I think in the same world as Busey, right?
Now he is definitely.
He's turned into Randy Quaid's turned into his character from Independence Day. He's like turned into the crazy guy who watches the television with the tinfoil and the antennas.
Okay.
Shout out to the Buse. Okay. Finally, my friend, Mr. Tergliafera, the wonderful Chris Tergliafera, would you rather be a reverse merman or a reverse centaur?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
He's thick. That centaur's thick.
Well, do I have 6 legs as a centaur? Oh, no, wait. Let's see.
A reverse centaur, you'd have 4 arms, 2 legs.
Okay. But I don't have arms as the fish. I just have flippers.
No. I'm just seeing fins there. I'm seeing fins.
I think I would have to be the reverse Centaur. The fish, I just feel like I would just be literally a fish out of water. I think the Centaur, I can do more with that. I can have more fun with it.
The hair, the mane.
Yeah. I feel like I could possibly be more majestic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I think also, like, if I went, even though I've got the 6 legs, which isn't quite this, I feel like we could do some movie magic, and I could be in a few films as a Centaur.
Oh, smart.
Merman, I can't see this fish being in anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just Hellboy's sidekick. You're just Hellboy's sidekick.
You know, the Shape of Water, that guy still was kind of humanoid, you know. And, you know, I'm not going to be able to have sex as a reverse merman. Nobody's going to want that. I'm not
Sorry.
Not getting that hot girl by herself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's what it comes down to, then great answer.
State and Ariel's friends, you know. All right.
All the sirens. Well, Chris, thank you. You've been such a delight.
Thank you, Heather.
Before we do wrap this up, any final thoughts you want to leave us with here today?
Yeah.
No, this was a lot of fun. I don't really have anything to plug. Well, actually, Josh and I are going to be at Duke City Con on June 23rd.
That's right.
And it's Albuquerque, right?
Albuquerque, New Mexico, Duke City. We're going out to the old Duke City out there in Albuquerque.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited about that. This is the first con I'll be going to with Josh, and I haven't been to a con in a while. So, yeah. I guess Duke City Con. I think it's June 23rd and 24th, that weekend.
And on
Coming
the plane,
at you.
I'm expecting both of y'all to listen to Albuquerque on repeat by Weird Al Yankovic, because you have to, right?
Of course. Yeah.
If that's where you're heading.
I
I can do this, he says.
I can do this.
Okay.
Do this.
Okay,
Chris,
enough.
where can we find you on social media so people who want to check out your stuff?
I like how it's like my last name that I did not put up here. Let's see, I'll just put it in. It's either Chris Tergliafera or Tergliafera. I'm like the only Chris Tergliafera. No, there's this one guy that sucks that I'm related to. He unfriended me on Facebook. He's also Chris Tergliafera, but ignore him.
He is not the real.
He's
Chris
not
Tergliafera.
the real one. But,
we have unique
either
names.
Chris
There's only
Tergliafera-
one Chris Tergliafera and like one Josh Petersdorf. There's other Tergliaferas and Petersdorfs, but only one Chris.
We're like
only
Tigger.
one Josh.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah,
Awesome.
it's Chris Tergliafera. Yeah, that's on Instagram, Twitter. It's some variation. If you type in Tergliafera, chances are I'm going to pop up.
Fabulous.
Man.
I love it.
We can't thank you enough for joining us
Oh
today.
no, thank y'all. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for your continued successes and your inspiration. And thank you for helping me personally as a bro and as a friend and as a human being when I got to LA and we first got this job of saying, hey, go meet this person in this meet and greet, because that one thing changed my life. So I owe you a ton for that, Mr. Tergliafera. So thank you very much, sir.
You've always been in my corner. You've always helped me out. I mean, like, yeah, it's we came up through this together, really. I mean, I still remember when we were walking through
eating tuna sandwiches, doing Transformers the Ride. Like, why did we eat a tuna sandwich before we did this motion simulator
ride? We both got sick.
We got so sick. The first time we were so sick. It was like, and we both were like so prideful. Like, I'm fine, but we were like green, like sweating and green.
We
like
were all trying to move up the roster and get shifts. And it's like, I don't want to be that punk that like threw up a tuna sandwich after riding Transformers.
Yum. Well, before we do let y'all go, we're going to go over our upcoming guests that we have coming up, which is crazy. It's almost April. So Thursday, we're welcoming back Fillmore, the host of Nick Arcade from Nickelodeon. Friday, a bonus show with John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard and Smallville. Following Tuesday, Gary Puckett from the Union Gap. We also have Dee Wallace from E.T. We have Casey Jost, Kevin Mellon, David Cook, David Sobolov. We have Jason Marsden coming up, John Kassir. We have so many. Oh,
wow.
And Chris, we'll have to have you back.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I would love to come back anytime you want.
Awesome. Yay. And Josh, thank you so much as always.
Always a pleasure being here on Talk Culture. And if you want to find our socials, it's at Talk Culture, at all appropriate things as well. No double Ks. For Khalifa Kush, just one dog. Just one.
Well, I guess everyone enjoy WrestleMania this weekend. Well, I guess we got a few more days. But until then, we will see you guys real soon. Be safe, everybody.
Ooh, yeah.